In Orthodox Christian tradition, every year on Holy Saturday on the Orthodox calendar, in Jerusalem, at the tomb of Christ, the Holy Sepulchre, a miracle occurs. The church itself is first searched for any fire-making tools, formerly by Turkish Muslim soldiers and now by Israeli police. Then the Orthodox Patriarch of Jerusalem is also physically searched. When the decidedly and deliberately non-Christian officials are satisfied, the Patriarch recites a prayer and enters the Holy Sepulchre carrying an oil lamp, while the gathered faithful outside the tomb continuously chant, "Lord, have mercy." The Patriarch continues to pray until the blue-white flame of the holy fire sweeps across the altar and descends to light the lamp held by the Patriarch. The Patriarch then emerges from the tomb, recites some prayers, and lights a bundle of either 33 or 12 candles to distribute the holy fire to the faithful waiting outside. The fire also spontaneously lights the other lamps and candles around the church. Over the next days, the holy fire makes its way, originally by boat and now by airplane, to Kiev, Moscow, London, and this year New York. After the Divine Liturgy on May 7th, 2017, two Orthodox parishioners in Edmonton, one from Holy Trinity Orthodox Church and one from St. Herman's Cathedral, both in their 70s, drew to Missoula, Montana, to a Greek Orthodox parish to collect the holy fire. Twice they were stopped on their way back, once by a state trooper for going 8 miles over the speed limit, and then at Canada Customs, where the officer said, "Do you realize there's something burning in your back seat?" At each stop, they had the chance to say, "Yes, it's the holy fire." And in response to the look of puzzlement, they got to tell the story of the miracle. In Alberta, they shared the holy fire with parishes in Calgary, Red Deer, and in Edmonton, both to St. Herman's and Holy Trinity Parish in the Macaulay neighborhood on historic Church Street. Now, Holy Trinity began when the rector and parish council of St. Barbara's Russian Orthodox Cathedral were forced to resign. The main issue was ecclesiastical jurisdiction. St. Barbara's would leave the jurisdiction of the North American Metropolia for that of the Moscow Patriarchate, while the new Holy Trinity Church would be independent of foreign control and remain fully part of the Metropolia, which since 1970 has been called the Orthodox Church in America. This new parish of 27 parishioners, including the priest and his wife, would also be truly Canadian, open to people of all races and ethnicities, and English would be used for at least some of the divine services. The group found a building at 10902 96th Street, previously the Seventh-day Adventist Meeting House. It was on sale for $25,000. They scraped together $5,000 for the down payment, a huge chunk of change in 1955. And the first service was held on November 27th, 1955. Redecorating and paying for the new church building was a difficult process. All of the original members were blue-collar workers. There were many pierogi suppers and picnics and raffles, but by 1960, they had the building paid off. Despite financial difficulties, the young parish was vibrant and strong. But in the early 1960s, when the parish needed a new priest, the Metropolia had no one to fill the vacancy. So in 1961, the parish joined Rokor, the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia, which at that time was separated from the Moscow Patriarchate. Rokor provided a new priest and the added blessing of having a bishop in our own city, the late Bishop Sava. But when things are going well, the devil always sticks his oar in to stir up trouble. And not long after, a controversy in the parish between the rector and the assistant pastor led to a group of parishioners leaving in 1963 to form All Saints in northeast Edmonton. Still, contrary to our contemporary society's values, Orthodox faith, and in particular Orthodox worship, are God-centered, not human-centered. Orthodoxy means right teaching, and its point is to lead to the right glorification of God in worship and in daily life. Get the relationship with God right, and all else follows. That does not mean, however, that the church cuts itself off from the surrounding society. While the church has absolutely no place in partisan politics, still, both as a human being and especially as a Christian, I have a moral responsibility to vote, to keep tabs on my elected politicians, and if they are doing something harmful, to raise unholy hell. As a Christian, I also have a duty to the planet, because as we see in Genesis 2, God placed Adam in the garden to tend and keep it, not strip mine it and wreck it. There's also some enlightened self-interest. If the bees go, so does pizza. In 2002, Holy Trinity returned to the jurisdiction of the North American Metropolia, now called the Orthodox Church in America. I came in 2003 as pastor. And little by little, the parish has been recovering its original vision and direction. For many years, the services were in Church Slavonic, but now English is the primary language used in worship. Visitors and members of the parish come from all kinds of ethnic backgrounds: Ukrainian, Belarusian, Romanian, Lebanese, Ethiopian, Moldovan, Jamaican, Scots, German, Finnish, English. I myself am of Sicilian ancestry. After 62 years, Holy Trinity Parish continues to move towards the full realization of the vision of its founding members. Bottom line, interdependence is God's vision for the human race. If we were to live according to the gospel ethic as our brother's keeper, there would be a lot less conflict on this planet. And the Blessed Augustine writes that God loves each one of us as if there were only one of us to love. And when that becomes our goal too, then we're really living as we're created to live, in God's image and genuinely according to God's likeness.